and welcome back to the Ecuador Insider Podcast. Jesse, Brandon, pleased to be with you on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, Saturday, hopefully morning. Hopefully we get it out in the morning this time, if you guys are watching when this is released. We record these only 2 days normally before they're released, so, you know, we're very up to date. Not that we do a ton of current events on this particular program, show, podcast, but we are pretty up to date here. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Right now, please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit like button. You know why? Because this is going to be a great episode. You're going to like it. So just do us the favor. Hit the like button now and give us a comment. Hey, guys, all the people commenting last week, random comments just to feed the algorithm, thank you. We appreciate it. We really, you know, we enjoy doing these. It's fun for me. It's fun for Brandon. We like hanging out. We actually don't get to hang out all that often because we have families and kids and stuff going on. So this gives us a chance to hang out. But we also really want to give you, you know, the real deal information on this place and sort of share with you from our perspective the frequency and the feel and the reality of, you know, what is here and what this place offers. So yeah, we do appreciate you subscribing, liking, commenting to help this reach more people or reach those it should reach. If Vilcabamba, Ecuador, or this region of Ecuador, the Southern Andes, the non-Cuenca Southern Andes, the Loja region, if this region has piqued your interest at all from our videos or otherwise, guys, come down to our next Vilcabamba Lifestyle Retreat. It starts the end of August, August 29th. It's a 9-day retreat. Let's just describe this here a little bit, right? So
do it. Let's hear it.
I'm trying.
All right.
So you know, so you guys will fly into Quito, and then from Quito, there's a flight to this area, to the Loja Airport, which is in Catamayo. We pick you guys up in a van or a taxi, depending on if people are all arriving at the same time or individually. You get a ride to Izhcayluma. You're met with drinks. You get a ride to Izhcayluma. Izhcayluma is amazing. Awesome. So shout out to Peter and those guys at Izhcayluma, but it's an eco resort. You walk in, there's a sign at the front that's very fitting that says you are now entering a stress-free zone or something like that. Yeah. And that's how it feels there. Like just being at Izhcayluma, like I don't know if it's on a ley line or like what it is, but the energy there, just the way they run it, the way the hotel operates, and just the energy in the place itself, you're already unwind like right off the bat just by being there.
Yeah,
so
the rooms are beautiful, the grounds are beautiful, the manicure, the flowers, the restaurant views, like it's an epic place.
So you get to the hotel, you chill out that night, and then we meet you the next morning, which is normally Saturday morning, or is that Sunday morning? Saturday morning. We meet you the next morning, which is Saturday morning, and from there, it's just 9 days of, well, it's like very hard to describe because it's 9 days of fun, adventure, learning, relaxing, and just sort of
eating,
a lot of eating, getting a very hands-on feel for everything here. So the groups tend to be amazing. People tend to really like each other and form very strong bonds. We have a lot of fun with the people that come on these retreats. You eat at all the restaurants. You get a presentation from experts on every subject that you could possibly be interested in terms of making life here. You get to see how people are living here. You get to see every town in this region as well. There's a massage, you know, at Izhcayluma built in the spa. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's really done well. It's comfortable. We're very accommodating. Like we try to make your life, and we want you to enjoy your time here, and that's really the goal. So, anyways, if you're interested, guys, check the links below. Check the reviews. We'd love to have you down here. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. So, it's always like, whenever I'm very tough critic on myself. You know, it's very easy, like, when someone else, it's like, good job. When you're doing it, you're like, oh, that probably sucked.
No, it actually kind of sucked.
It was kind of bad.
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So there's some interesting news. Brandon was asking if I actually had something to talk about today, which I did.
Did you?
Which was surprising.
Is this the crime stuff?
Yeah. I want to talk about that. So there's some interesting news. So, okay. 30 seconds of history. Ecuador was so safe so safe as a country during basically Correa's tenure as president, which was 2006 to 16. Ecuador was incredibly safe, statistically one of the safest countries in the world. You could feel it when you were here. We didn't have all these headlines that we have now about cartels and that kind of cartel-related violence and all this kind of stuff. Ecuador then got kind of overrun a bit by cartels, particularly on the coast and the port cities. Ecuador is now subject to cartel-related violence. It's very different than it used to be in that way. You have towns, on the coast and in other places that, are relatively dangerous. Like places there's a lot of places that I've been to many times and never even occurred to me to think about my safety that now are dangerous places. Again, none of those are here in this region, but still just in the country. It's not a huge country. There's a lot of, it's not a huge country, but there's also many different worlds within Ecuador. I mean, man, you go to some crappy areas of Guayaquil versus here, it couldn't be any more different from one another. But
and they're not concentrated geographically close to each other.
Right.
Like the things are so, even though it's a small country, it's because of the roads and the topography. Yeah, it's not like easily traversed.
Right, 100%. Yeah. So Ecuador, because of everything that's gone on, and so we have, our current president, Daniel Noboa, was elected via special election because Lasso stepped down because he was getting pummeled in the assembly and was, couldn't govern effectively as a result. So he stepped down, there was a special election, Noboa gets elected, he's in for 18 months, and then he gets elected again. So now he has a 4-year term, so he'll be in for, at least, well, unless he does what Lasso did, or there's a revolution, he'll be in for at least 5.5 years or so. So he was elected on security, essentially, right? On stopping the cartels, stopping the crime, and people reelected him by a landslide. I mean, he won by 10 points, something like that, which is almost unheard of. At least in the time I've been here, that hasn't happened at all. I think the biggest victory in the total, all the time I've been here, was maybe 5 points. So he got elected, very strongly against the socialist candidate, Luisa Gonzalez, who was from Rafael Correa's party, I should say. La Revolución Ciudadana. I just like saying that. Anyhow, so as a result of, so now people are kind of in wait-and-see mode. Some people really support Noboa. They really believe he's going to do the things he says he's going to do and be anti-crime. He's aligned sort of philosophically with Bukele, with Trump, with people, like that. And so, he has that tough-on-crime stance. He's going to, really go against the cartels and try to root them out, so on and so forth. But one of the problems, and we saw a huge campaign in his first term, his first 18 months with the military and the police against the cartels, but we didn't see changes in the laws. We now have. So this is really interesting. So I actually didn't, I just know what I know. I didn't even read a lot about this. I just saw the headlines and was like, oh, wow.
Oh, you're one of those, huh?
Headliner. Yeah. So, so one thing, and this is related but not the same. So they're getting rid of the tránsito. So the police that are solely responsible for vehicles like roads and cars, they're getting rid of that entirely, and they're giving that back to just the regular national police. That was done because of the corruption, specifically. So it's not so bad in this area, but if you go, you're driving through the coast. I mean, these guys, they just set up checkpoints and just look and see if they can find something in your car, and then ask you for money. So they're getting rid of the tránsito to try to, there's literally just, eliminating a massive police force in Ecuador. So that's interesting, but the laws are really interesting. So the judges can now give up to 26 years in prison for someone who's involved in organized crime. So either the gangs or the cartels, either one. And that's been a big problem. A big problem that we have in Ecuador is the sentences. So it seems like, and I'm not an expert on this, but it seems like the judges have almost total leeway in terms of what they do. And so you'll have someone, who gets charged with a serious crime, does 3 years. does a few years and he's out, or less, or even just gets released, or right. And so that kind of worked when Ecuador was a very homogeneous, I should say, society, and there wasn't a lot of people from other countries, and there wasn't cartels, and there wasn't gangs, and then it was like kind of okay because the communities would sort of police themselves, right. And that kind of worked. But if you're gonna have real, outside criminals, which is what's going on now, and you're gonna have some organization, which is going on now, you gotta do something. You can't let that. You can't, criminals can't know, oh, I can go and commit a serious crime and it doesn't really matter because in the worst case scenario, I'll be in jail for a few years. Right. So up to 26 years in prison, I think that's somewhat of a big deal. A lot of people have been calling for this for a long time.
I mean, that's...
and part of it was because there was this, there was this big event that was circulating like very widely, where there were some people in Guayaquil who kidnapped, kidnapped, which is happens in Guayaquil. They kidnapped some people, I don't know who, and then the judge let them go, and then within a few days, they kidnapped and killed
the same people,
other people.
Oh man!
But they had just gotten arrested for kidnapping a few days or a week earlier or whatever it was, and the judge had let them go. So clearly a corrupt judge. Right. And so this was, people were very upset and very up in arms about this. And I saw as part of the new, I don't know if it's one law or two laws that they passed, I think it's just one, but part of this new law, they can do now, actually I gotta click on this, I think they can give judges now, corrupt officials, so police, which this is a big problem, so police and judges, let me just read through this, I think it's life now. They can get life, cadena perpetua, so life behind bars for police and military that are aligned with criminal organizations.
Interesting.
So that's really interesting. I think that has the chance to really change the landscape because, look, these guys, they make their salary, whatever it is, and then they're approached and they're, okay, you can have basically 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times that to just kind of be on our team.
Go away.
But is it worth it if if you get caught, you're doing life?
Right.
I think that's really significant.
A big deterrent, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Now there's a balance to that too, where, if prisons become too overpopulated, they're going to have to, get creative, and that's some of the stuff Bukele did.
Right.
In El Salvador, and even Noboa has referenced, even particularly when he was campaigning the first time, he talked about those floating prisons. You remember that?
Yeah. Which are they doing that? I'm not even sure.
I know. I haven't heard actually anything about that since the original campaign. So that leads me to believe that they're not, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But they may have to. But I mean, the point is maybe they haven't had to. Because everybody, you're in and then you're out. You're in and you're out. Maybe it's not been a problem, as much. Whereas all of a sudden you get some of these, if they're actually materially cracking down on this, and the laws changed, where there's going to be a lot less vacancy in the prisons, then you may have to start getting creative with floating prisons.
Yeah. And there are, look, I mean, people are worried about surveillance, it makes the state stronger, obviously, and there's always those concerns, which I completely understand, but you also can't have your country overrun by organized crime.
Yeah.
So, that also matters. Just ask Venezuela.
Yeah.
Or Mexico, or many
parts of it,
Colombia back in the day, or lots of places.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man. It sounds like good move, good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been very popular, certainly in the country. The reaction has been very positive, but we'll see. They have to. It's all about implementation.
Right.
It's like they have to do it successfusly.
Right. And if you already got judges on the take, if they're already on the take, it's going to be like, it's still going to. It doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden, oh, now I can do life. It's still
and I don't know that it even includes the judges. What I was reading just there, it said military and police, so it may not include the judges, but yeah. I don't know. I'm not. I didn't read the law or anything like that.
At the very least, if that law is in effect,
yeah,
you know, any of the low level street gangs, organized cartel, you know, like the soldiers, that's got to be a huge deterrent. Now, from going from a 2 or 3 year sentence to a 25, 30-year sentence.
Well, and also a culture where they weren't, you know, it's not like they're getting caught. Like, people were looking the other way. So it's like there has to be, that's what I'm saying. It's like the implementation, you know, is the devil in the details piece of this. So
yeah, we'll see. Well,
we'll see, yeah.
It's interesting, yeah.
You know, you know, predictions are always a, I don't know, slippery slope comes to mind. That's not the right phrase, but you know, predictions are in some ways they're just silly. I mean, I think looking at trends and making predictions can be useful for sure. But you know, it's easy to be wrong. It's easy to blah blah blah. And so in my time here, you know, my predictions politically have been terrible. My predictions in terms of economics and real estate here have been very good. From my perspective, like, there's good times ahead for Ecuador, and I believe that when I say good times ahead, I mean economically, and of course that includes real estate. But the reason I feel that way is because of this stuff. So it's like you have very difficult geopolitical stuff going on all over the world. You have Ecuador that as a container, like as an environment, solves for a lot of that, you know, in terms of all the stuff everyone knows. You know, it's a great place to live. It's cheap. It has everything you want. The air, the water, the soil, the weather, the culture, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's always had these sorts of like headwinds that have caused there to be less tourism and economic activity and things like that than you could say there should be based on like what's here.
Which I love about.
I do too, absolutely. It's one of the really nice things, yeah. But, you know, the security stuff, so it's like Ecuador is plugging along. Ecuador is doing okay right now in the face of, we've had power outages and we've had terrible security situation, you know, overall in the country. And we've had political turmoil, and we've
fires,
had fires, and right, all kinds of floods and all kinds of stuff going on. And Ecuador's kind of chugged along and is done okay. And again, I think that's a testament to the people of Ecuador. But we now are seeing the first signs of no, I shouldn't even say that. We're not seeing the first signs of implementation, but we're seeing a truly sustained effort that looks like it has a real possibility to go the way of an El Salvador, in terms of security.
Right.
And
the path forward seems attainable, realistically attainable.
Right. And if they're able to get that under control, particularly because he's a very centrist person, very centrist president in other ways. So on education and on economic matters and things like very centrist. But not stupid, you know, he's a business person, he understands that stuff. You know, like, if they get the security under control, as clearly they're pushing to do, then Ecuador has a number of boom years here coming up, in my opinion. Boom meaning slow, steady, nice growth. You know, not like some kind of crazy, you know, debt-fueled boom, but yeah.
No, I agree, man. Yeah, and I get that sense just talking to local people. You know, I know a lot of people are feeling that. They're communicating that to me. That people that are into it, that are into politics here, are understanding this and really in tune with this. Former police officers, they're telling me like, hey, they're like feeling proud about the direction things are going. Now, there's always little things, you know, like, you know, locally. Right, like the road to Loja. Well, like they need to really figure that out. You know, like the road to Loja needs to be figured out ASAP, right? You know, because it doesn't seem like that's that big of a deal, but it's hurting local businesses, man. Big time, right? There's especially the restaurants, and because of all the Lojanos that come on the weekends. I mean, that's huge percentage of their business, and they're not getting that. Like, again, there's a common misconception, at least with people that I meet that are coming here for the first time or that watch our channel and have never been here. They think that gringos, kind of run everything and fund everything and keep everything afloat. There's some truth to that in some ways, where there's like a baseline on certain types of restaurants or stores where there's like a baseline gringo consumer that accounts for a percentage of the business.
Yep.
But most of the restaurants, including the ones that the gringos like, guess what? It's not like they're anything like it's tailored for gringos. They're just it's international food, or it's a unique restaurant for the area that's not common here. So most humans like it, right? So Lojanos will come here on the weekend, and they come here and they go to the restaurants because they don't have some of the restaurants in Vilcabamba, little rural, pueblo, that aren't in a 300,000 or 250,000 person city. So they come here and they enjoy the nature, and they're more rural, and they're going to the restaurants, and they're going to some of the boutique shops. And just talking with some of those business owners, they're hurting, man.
Oh, yeah, they're big time.
They're hurting.
No, they're getting killed. I mean, the weekends now are like the weekdays.
Yeah.
Which is quiet with hardly anyone, just very quiet little town. Yeah. And we're used to having, the population probably quadruple on Saturday and Sunday from all the Lojanos that come from the city. And yeah, that, like you said, that for a lot of the hotels, the hosterias, the restaurants, even taxis and stores, and that for a lot of them, the weekend essentially accounts for most of their business. I mean, for the hosterias, pretty much all their business is weekends. They're getting killed.
Right.
Restaurants, like you mentioned, it's bad. I mean, with that.
So they need to really just, I don't know, like that's just one of those political things. Like just figure it out. Figure it out.
That is a problem. It's a problem everywhere in the world. But yeah, that's where all the corruption and graft and that stuff comes in, and just incompetence, as well. Some of it's just incompetence.
I think
maybe
of
most of it is just incompetence, at least in this region.
Yeah.
But you asked, and we obliged. I don't remember. I didn't write down who asked this question, but I want to answer it. So. Here was the comment on our last video. You guys are on a roll with these videos, always coming with the thought-provoking content. Finally bringing my whole family to Vilcabamba this month for a visit.
Woo!
Hope to see y'all and say hello. I'd love to hear more about, number one, the conspiracies and other...
Oh, dude, this is hilarious.
What?
This is from Earth Coven Audio, because I also have it. Is the conspiracies and other strangeness of
Vilcabamba.
How you handle
Good.
homeschool? No, let's say it together.
No, it's not.
Come on, let's do it. Ready? Number 2. How you handle homeschooling. U.S. taxes, immigration, and other U.S. ties that bind. Number 3.
Home birthing?
Yes.
Free birthing.
Another non-allopathic medicine. Dude, this is awesome.
Please don't ever do that.
I had this. Dude, that's crazy. We did not plan this. We didn't talk about this. And I had that
I'm glad this makes you excited.
It does make me excited,
man.
Yeah.
You gotta get excited in life.
Dude, I'm excited. It's the little things, man. It's the little things.
All right, so number 1 is the conspiracies and other strangeness of Vilcabamba. Yeah, I mean, Vilcabamba is a funny place, man. It's a very funny place. Like, this is a unique town. I don't know that there's many places like this on Earth. What's the mix here, right? So it's locals who are basically like most Ecuadorians anywhere in the country, particularly the culture of the mountains. That being said, they are used to interacting with foreigners a lot more than other places. I guess there's some small amount of difference there maybe in the local population, but not really. Then you have some sort of just kind of retiree folks. You have a massive population of healers and like spiritual people, and then you have a lot of sort of hippie types. But like basically the common theme in general is like most people that come here, not everybody, but most people that come here, they're on some sort of spiritual path. They're looking for something different. They're looking to for a totally different lifestyle. They tend to have both oftentimes strong and different views. Like there's not a ton of mainstream views here.
Right.
There are some, but there's not a ton of mainstream views here. If you think very differently, if you think out of the box, if you're into conspiracies and stuff like that, like those are very normal views here.
Right.
Like people, I mean, I'll use this example. Out of the foreign population, which I think in many parts of the world, when they rolled out the jab in 2020 or 2021 or whenever that was, most of the population on Earth took it. Most people in most countries took it. Probably 10% or something like that of the foreigners here did that.
Right.
Right. That's an example of kind of the way people think here and what people are all about. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, I kind of touched on this earlier, which will be later though, but that, I don't know if there's a place on Earth that I've been that has a more concentrated percentage of people that I would call like, actively or intently attempting to heal their souls, like in a conscious way. Like that's a real thing. There's a heavy, it's actually not, it's a heavy concentration, but an uplifting feeling,
there's a lot of beautiful people here.
Yeah.
Again, living the life the way they want to live life. That's another, I would say, theme is like people don't come here because they're cookie cutter people. Mm-hmm. Like people come here because it's like they have an idea about how they want to live their life and what they want to do and who they are, and they do that.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. Like there's, no matter how deep you are on any of these conspiracies or most of the ones that I got into, rabbit holes, there's probably at least one person or a handful of people that have gone way deeper on any given subject, than maybe I have.
Yep.
Like there's always you're always, even when you kind of think like, I got the gist, I understand, I got it, and then you'll have a conversation, you're like, oh,
yeah,
learning, it goes even deeper,
100%. And it's like, it's not only that either. I want to make that clear too, because like I don't have those conversations at all. Like I don't, just because for me they're not, they don't give me energy. Like I don't enjoy sitting around talking about what's wrong or what's going on or what's 100%. Like this is happening, that's happening. Like it's all happening. It doesn't matter. But so it's, I just want to make that clear too. Like there's also, this is not a town of people like sitting around talking about these things either at all. Most people here are doing actually really cool stuff, and like there's a lot of, whether it's online or whether it's in the community, because it's very mixed, but it's like there's a lot of really amazing, accomplished, beautiful people here who are giving their gift in one way or the other.
Yeah.
So whether that's how many, like there's multiple groups here teaching permaculture. There's multiple groups here teaching foraging and medicinal plants that are just in the wild. There's multiple, there's that goes on and on and on and on. It's endless, endless. Yeah. So
it's awesome.
And activities and stuff for the kids and just people who like have their little piece of the dream of how they think they can contribute to Earth being a better place and the community being a better place, who are providing that, or giving that service, or making that space, or teaching that class, or whatever it is. So this is a unique place.
Yeah. And oftentimes it's just people doing it because it's their passion, it's their calling, they're doing it for themselves, and then it's just like you're getting the reverberation of it. Like you're observing it, or you're witnessing it, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, awesome. Like they're making it real, making it tangible. Like that's possible.
I would say that's another thread too. People here are real.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fluff. There's like, you don't have those like pointless, meaningless interactions with people. You just don't have those here. It's like, if you run into someone and you want to talk and say hi, it's going to be like a real conversation most of the time. It's not, hey, how you doing? Good. How's the wife and kids? Good. Oh, the Mets won yesterday. Like those conversations don't really go on here.
How's the weather?
Right.
It's like the conversation you have on an elevator in the city,
Right. I did kick the Bucks, but it didn't fall, man. That's pretty good. So that, that's another aspect. It's, it's real people living real life. Part of that too is how Ecuadorians are as well, which is really cool. We could talk endlessly about that. Like the beauty of the local community here is just tremendous. We've talked about that on a lot of episodes, but I think really, it's really that container that's actually the most important. It's just the way the locals are here. You know, just in terms of, again, like the spiritual the spiritual lessons, you know, of like rolling with the punches and taking it slow and not having expectations and being kind and caring about people and being present.
Being present.
And yeah.
And that's a cool thing when you, if you integrate into the community and you are able to start having, you know, more meaningful conversations or have a, you know, different relationship with locals, then you'll find out that, like, you know, folks that, you know, that I may have judged as like a simple farmer is like a spiritually thinking deep, and he's telling you about, you know, like ancestral, spiritual conversation, stories that are passed down just that aren't written anywhere, that are just passed down from his family, from his father, you know, and you learn some of that stuff, or you learn, you know, like, oh, everybody's seen an alien, everybody's seen a UFO. Well, you're seeing some folks that are, you know, with 100% certainty, they are not lying.
No.
They're not making it up because they want to be told. They're almost embarrassed to tell you
about it. Yeah,
right?
Totally.
And they're telling you about unidentified flying objects, and they're telling you about, you know, different, you know, like all kind of interesting, you know. This is goes to the strangeness, like, you know, there's some depth and some very interesting, strange, perhaps stories that you can hear and learn if you know, integrate, you know, and that aren't available to you if you don't.
Yeah, 100%. What was it? How do you handle homeschooling, U.S. taxes, immigration, other U.S. ties that bind? Yeah, a lot of the foreign families homeschool here. You do, I do. People do various forms, from very in-depth, strict curriculums to sort of unschooling, free range, you know, let the kids do what they want type stuff. And then a lot of the kids that homeschool, their kids also do a lot of activities. So there's a lot of, you know, whether it's sports or dance or horseback riding, or there's an eco club or an archery, you know, a million things.
Hiking.
Yeah, so people do that kind of stuff. Some kids do the online thing as well. Yeah. There's also a number of quite a few foreign kids as well that just go to the schools here also. So that's an option as well.
Yeah, and there's kids that do a combination of all of that. Some of them go to the schools here. They do some online, and then they're involved in the activities, and you know,
the community of kids here is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like, it's awesome. Partly because I think a lot of them are homeschooled and come from you know, good families and good people, and so that, you know, passes down to the kids, and so the kind of the way the community cares about each other is also true of the kids. And so, like, the community of kids is really good.
That's cool.
So that, let's see, taxes. Yeah, so technically you're supposed to file taxes as a, you know, thanks to FATCA. Yeah. You're supposed to file taxes as a U.S. citizen, even if you're living abroad. I believe even if you're not having income, you're supposed to file something that says, like, I didn't make anything.
Yeah. I mean, they report now. Like, I just even had to submit a new W-9 at Banco de Loja, you know.
Yeah, a few years back they made that agreement.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's something like you. I mean, that's a gray area, right?
It is a gray area. Most people don't.
Most people don't do it. You know, my wife's a tax accountant, so we still do. So if you have questions, let me know. She can maybe point you in the right direction, or at least, you know, what we do anyway to make it happen.
Yeah. So immigration is one of the easiest countries in the world to immigrate to. You're not gonna. In 12 years or whatever it is in this business, I've never seen someone that couldn't qualify for one of the resident visas. Like, so I wouldn't worry about that. U.S. ties that bind. Yeah, I think that's like the hardest thing for all of us that live here, is like, you're away from people you love and care about, and you're gonna see them likely a little bit less than you did before. And that's why kind of like people here sort of become your family. You know, partly I guess out of necessity, but it also just happens. But yeah, you know, you don't see people as often as you did.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. I think it's a two-way street, man. So, like, you know, that's probably the most difficult, you know, mentally to get over. You know, the family and friends, the idea of being that far away and not having direct access. And then, you know, once you start doing it, at least for us, The two kids, 14 and 9 now, they were, spent a ton of time with their grandparents, and, part of the technology, as much as I want them to off the screens and off the games and all that stuff, which they don't really want to do anyway because they're out, playing and running and horseback riding and soccer and all that stuff. But the technology does make that stuff more, easier to manage, right? With FaceTime and video calls and all that stuff, like where, I would say that my kids probably talk to their family, their grandparents, some of their cousins more here than they did while we were there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So I know it's not in person, they're not able to touch them, give them a hug, and that's important. But I think it does buoy some of that, like, difficulty of dealing with it by having those technology solutions. The other thing, man, and this is like straight up, we've experienced it, and it's reinforced every time, is that, we go back twice a year. We go back in the summer, and in the winter. And this year I don't think we're going back in the summer. We're gonna do Mexico, meet some friends there. But what we've noticed is when we go back, the quality time is better. Like, it's people are more present because they, and I don't know if it's
scarcity.
If it's right, they just know we're not there anymore. They can't just stop over. They can't just, not that people did that anyway. I mean, we don't even live in that society anymore where you just randomly show up to somebody's house on a weekday to, have company, everybody's so busy, everybody's got their own stuff, and nobody does that. But when you do spend time, when we go back, dude, everybody's present. They're more motivated to want to be with us, to be, have that relationship. So from that perspective, it's, many of those relationships didn't get weaker and maybe are stronger in a lot of ways, and more fulfilling and more rewarding and more, I look more forward to it because they're real, because people are now present and they're not just like, it's not a holiday. We go to the holidays every day, and some people are looking to get out of there as soon as and it's not that anymore. So now the time back, is more real, more valuable.
Yeah, and you can travel back as much as you want. Obviously, there's expense and there's hassle involved, so there's that barrier. But you can go a lot. I mean, the first number of years I was here, I was going back 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
I hardly ever go back anymore. I do miss people. It is nice to see people. My life, I love my life here so much, and this place is so good. I always, like, when I have to go to the States now, I'm always like, it's very, for me, a mixed bag. It's like, there's some people I'm looking forward to see, and I am not looking forward to being in the States. Like, for me. Yeah. And that, I don't enjoy the vibe of the States. Like, I don't enjoy how I feel. Like, I just don't like it very much anymore. But I like to go for some of the food and some of the supermarkets and some of the shopping, and really to see people mainly. Which that part of it is great, but like there's a depth to my life here that I don't find readily available back home, which makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't really like in that environment all that much. It's only so long I can talk about the weather with someone, for example, as a metaphor. But yeah, there are times when I miss people. I wish I was close. I wish I could go and I can, or I wish this, or there's events that happen and whatever. So yeah, that's a...
Yeah, I mean, Tiff and I did the math even on how many times, we looked at all the different family and friend groups we had back in the States, and we plotted out, how many times a year. Because everybody's so busy, man. It's not like you're hanging out every weekend with the same people. 100%. You've got a wide network that all these different people, and we figured out how many times you're seeing. We're actually, with the way times we go back, it's more concentrated now into certain parts of the year, but we're seeing people almost as much as we were, on average.
Totally. I remember my Uncle John joking with me the first few years. He's like, you moved to Ecuador and we see you more than we ever did.
Right, yeah.
But I was going back way more often then. But yeah, no, it's true. Okay, the last part of this is home birthing, free birthing, and other non-allopathic medicine in Ecuador. So this is, amazing. So like, I would say most, I think that's the right word. I would say most foreigners here have home births. My wife just did. Carl's wife just did. That's pretty much the norm here.
I mean, most foreigners here,
and I'm talking about Vilcabamba,
that had kids not here probably had home births.
Right.
I mean, Tiffany had a home birth in the States.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah. So home birth is very, very common. I don't know what free birthing is.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. There are midwives, there's doulas if you want people. My wife actually did it with nobody at all. I think Carl did it with nobody at all as well. So you can do it, but
you can do it.
I would know a lot about that.
They've done it for thousands of years. Yeah.
But of course, you can do all the hospitals and clinics, and that's very normal as well. There's also these very elderly Ecuadorian women who have been helping women birth children forever, and that are available here in the community, which is really cool. They know how to like move the baby and do different things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool too. And they know all the natural remedies for everything as well. So they're like, you need some of this tea or you need some of that. All that stuff goes on.
Non-allopathic in general here. Like if that's your wheelhouse, like that's...
You're not going to find anywhere better.
Right. I mean, there's a higher concentration of health practitioners, healers, variety of healing modalities, medical professionals that I've seen anywhere that are non-allopathic, that are here, right? That are from herbalists to massage therapists and osteopaths and, tapping masters.
And chiropractors and people who do all sorts of different energy work and, somebody does Zentai and you name it.
Orthomolecular and regenerative and that's
incredible.
That's pretty.
And
awesome.
They're really amazing too. They're not like some random dude who like took a class and like, I'm a healer. It's not that at all. It's like world renowned, like people who have done this forever and are really good at it and did it wherever they're from.
Right. I mean, we had, Quinn was having some issue breathing.
Yeah.
Where he couldn't take deep breaths. And, we're like, this is kind of weird. Like he runs all the time. He's active everywhere. Like it was a little bit of a concern. Mm-hmm. He had to come out of game, and I'm like, and, we saw Tim's wife, Jasmine. She's a naturopathic doctor from the States. They're down here. And she just came over to the house and checked him out real quick. And she did like this, she's like, I think he might have like a hiatal hernia. So she did this manual adjustment. And he was pretty much good to go. Like there was a noticeable improvement. He didn't have to do anything, so it's, it's just an example. I just went there was a doctor house call. A naturopathic doctor came to my house. Right. Manually adjusted my son, and it had a tangible improvement.
Yeah.
And like
normal life here.
Yeah.
Normal life.
Yeah. And So there's, Teshna has helped help Bella. Help. We've seen Bruno. There's world-renowned people here that that make this place special, and they're here because they want to be. That's the other beautiful thing. Kind of like how we talked about earlier. That will be later, where, what's different about this place, and you've kind of referenced the local culture and the tradition and the energy of the land and the mystery and the mystique with that drawing people, but then just the consciousness of people that are healing their souls. Like there's more people that are actively doing that. They're here, and then you have this other layer that with healing modalities and health practitioners that are all choosing to live here. Now there's some of them that are local here or from Ecuador, from the Amazon. You got medicine men,
all that as there's some beautiful lineages, by the way, on some of that stuff also.
Yeah. So you have that inherently here, and then you have all these people from France, from Germany, from the United States, from other parts of from Asia, from Australia, from New Zealand, that are here by choice. because they felt called here for whatever their reasons are, probably a lot of the ones we've talked about, and they're here because they want to be and they want to share. Like, a lot of these people don't even have to work. They don't have to do.
Oh yeah.
They don't have to do this stuff. You know, they're doing it because they want to help. They want to heal people. They want to work with people. So it's beautiful, man. That's a cool thing, man.
I have a question for you.
No.
I'm gonna blindside you with the question momentarily, but
answer
before I do that, guys, I just want to say we're here to help. All right. So if you have questions, if you need assistance in anything Ecuador related, like I've dove back in and I've been helping clients directly for the last several weeks, and I've just realized like a lot of people are just kind of like they want to come here or they want to explore, they want to whatever, and they don't know a lot, and they need help. Like people need help with how do I get there, and hotels and
just the tactical
and visas and like who do I talk to for this, and what do I do with this, and how does this work, and how does construction work, and if I want to do this, how does that work, and blah blah blah. Like, we're here to help you, and we like to help you. Like, that's kind of how we view our role in terms of the business side of things, is to help people who want to be here, right, or want to check this place out or move here, whatever it is they're doing. So if you guys need help, don't hesitate to reach out. info@abecuador.com. Check out our website, abecuador.com, of course, as well. But info@abecuador.com, guys. We're happy to help you with whatever you need. Public service announcement. All right, Brandon.
Yes.
Why did they send Greta Thunberg to Palestine?
Greta Thunberg? Mm-hmm. Is she like, she's the, who is she? I feel like I should
really?
know. I know her, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's like
she's a little girl who's saving the climate.
Oh, the climate girl. Yeah. That she's always very emotional.
Yeah. She's very serious, and we just gotta cut it.
She reminds me of like Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. Like not in that same vein, but that type of girl. You don't know? You don't remember that movie?
No.
Charlie and Chocolate
I've
Factory?
seen it. Like I've seen one. There's several versions of it. I saw the one like when I was a kid.
Daddy, I want a golden goose.
Yeah.
You know, like she's like that behind the scenes. She's really that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't. Anyway, so what did you?
Why
did she?
Why did they? Okay, we have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to answer this. Why did they send her to Palestine?
Why did they send her to Palestine? I didn't know they sent. I don't.
Somebody
sent her. I don't know. Should they send somebody?
Well, when I say they sent, I mean she went.
She went to Palestine.
I assume she's part of a larger agenda.
Like to fight fight for Palestinian lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is interesting to me.
Okay. Because when you kill a person and the body decomposes, methane gas is released. No.
You shouldn't joke about that.
I'm not joking. I
nailed it,
dude. I don't know why.
No, I don't know either. It's interesting to me, and we're gonna wrap right now. But it's interesting to me.
It's terrible.
It's pretty bad. It's interesting to me in the context, in this context. 8 seconds. In this context of her being so part of the agenda,
right?
And Israel not making sense to me and you,
right,
in terms of how that plays into some good stuff that's happening, but then that looks so bad in many ways, and all the politicians seem to have to support it and all that kind of stuff, and that looks that doesn't make a lot of sense in other contexts in terms of good things that are happening, but then there's the whole Israel thing, and that doesn't look good, and then people are supporting it who are also doing some other good things, and it's kind of weird. And then I see Greta Thunberg in a boat, like doing her thing.
Right, like standing.
Yeah. Like doing her thing for Palestine. And it just made me pause and go, huh.
Why?
What part of the agenda is that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Well, no, dude, but like for the record though, dude, there's it's a tragedy what's going on, man.
Yeah.
With stuff that, again, I don't even know what I believe to be true
in
regard to that, but it looks like there's a lot of innocent people getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
In that area, it's just
like cities getting bombed,
dude.
Like,
gross. Like I don't even pretend to try and understand what's happening, and I don't know. And maybe Greta will tell us what's actually happening.
Stop making
Hey guys, if you made it this far,
God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. If you haven't unsubscribed yet, then thank you. But if you're unsubscribed still, subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below. What else?
That's it.
All right. Well, we hope to see you down here one day, guys.
Till then,
We'll see you next time.
take care, everyone.
Ciao, guys.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Taking this quick break to remind you, we run Vilcabamba lifestyle retreats. If you're interested in checking out this area, hanging out with us, getting all the information you could possibly want, and having a great time, check out the links below. Thanks so much. Back to the program. No, let's just start one.
Okay, good idea.
Just yours.
That'd be fun. Poor people.
I told Monica that if anything f***s up with this and it doesn't work, she has to work 4 Sundays in a row.
Oh, that's terrible.
That
is terrible.
Here we are, back again.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
All right, you know what? This isn't gonna work. I was gonna wait to put my shirt on until the pod started.
Yeah.
But the mic is a little fooey.
Fooey.
Fooey, Brandon.
Fooey, baby. Here's your horchata, homie.
Horchata, baby.
You can go with your whatever you got there.
I got everything here.
You do got a lot of stuff there. Dude, I had one extra jar today, and you came with 2 coconuts, 2 tinfoil. Yeah. A couple of juices.
I will not be thirsty during
kombucha.
This podcast.
You're going to stay hydrated, my friend.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
Yeah. It's been a little dry.
Yeah, it's dry season.
Air's dry. Mm-hmm. I could tell, like, it happened so fast, man. It's wild how quickly it's just like boom. Mm-hmm. Like you can see it in some of the vegetation already. You can see it in the ground, the air. But with that, you get some nice sunny warmth. Mm-hmm. Good job. You drank that much faster than I drank the leche de tigre at the horse show that Chino goaded me into.
What leche de tigre? That's usually like similar to ceviche. It's like a white.
Yeah.
It's like a white, almost like ceviche sauce. It's just more liquid.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
It's white.
But you were
it was
drinking
super
it?
hot.
Spicy hot or
like
temperature?
Temperature hot. Like it was so hot.
Really?
That I couldn't.
Hot? But there was no fish in it?
No. It was like alcohol, bro. It was like.
Oh, they drink. I didn't even know they do that.
Yeah, it was like. Yeah, he's telling me, oh, it's better than beer. You know why? Because it's cheaper.
I wonder if it's the same, let's say, tigre that they call that's like similar to ceviche. It's like.
No, I don't know. This didn't seem like very complicated. It seemed like some punta, some milk and maybe some panela or some. I don't know.
It was sweet.
It was a little sweet, but it was super hot, man. Like it took me like 5 or 6 of the little cups. It took me like 5 or 6 sips because it was like, and I mean, partly is I have quite the wimpy mouth.
Which you said on
that
video.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing. It's so sensitive to temperature.
Did I have this lady's wrong email address?
Probably. She get a CRM.
No, I had it right.
No.
Robin. Oh, guess I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't read her email address. Not that matters.
Nope. Yeah. Then don't follow up with her social security number either.
Damn it.
And I hope, I'm not getting my hopes up, but the team at Cobrix has got me excited, man.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll see. First iterations are relatively exciting.
Yeah. Hola, Jorge.
¿Escuchas?
Aló, ahora sí.
Hola, Jesse.
¿Qué tal?
Jesse,
Dime.
quiero conversar contigo un ratito, si tienes un tiempito, ¿verdad?
Sí, estoy ya realmente para grabar ahora, pero si quieres algo con un minuto, 2
Yo creo
minutos.
que en unos 5 minutos puede ser.
Ok, dime nomás.
Verás, ubicas a Petula, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Ya, hay unos 2 lotes que ella quería enlistar
Ajá.
al tiempo en que, me parece que era todavía cuando Ryan estaba adentro.
Ok.
Entonces, Ryan salió a Estados Unidos y me pidió que ayude enlistando estos lotes.
Ya.
Pasó pues que justo hubo esto del deslave en la carretera y se me ha complicado a mí movilizarme. Entonces ahorita estaba conversando con Petula sobre esto, le dije que voy a llamarte para ver cómo se puede solucionar el listado de esos terrenos. Estoy con otro problema más, mi carro realmente no se mueve.
Chuta.
Mi batería estaba muerta, compré una nueva, pero además de eso parece que tiene algún otro problema porque ya funciona la parte eléctrica, pero sigue sin encenderse.
Chuta.
Y realmente estoy ahorita ya sin más dinero para seguirlo reparando. Entonces estoy con ese problema que no sé cómo hacer para no dejarlos tan atrasados a los listings de Petula.
Ya, chuta, Jorge, siento escucharlo. Pues siempre los carros se gastan, ¿no? Chuta, madre. ¿Cuánto más o menos necesitan para el carro?
No sé todavía. Lo que pasa es que, el cambio de la batería ya está hecho. Pero tengo que llevarlo ahorita donde un eléctrico para que vea qué es lo que está pasando. No sé cuánto me irá a costar todavía.
Ok. Bueno, cuando ya sabes, hablamos para ver si hay algo. Bueno, sobre lo de Petula no hay ningún problema. Puedo mandarle a Mónica y Fernando nomás.
Ya. Lo que sí, Petula también me pide que le haga un avalúo de los terrenos. Y yo he estado cerca de los terrenos, pero no ahí. Entonces no sé pues cómo darle un precio.
Ya, no te preocupes entonces. Ya lo manejo yo entonces con Mónica para tener una idea de los precios. No hay ningún problema.
Buenazo. Para avisarte también, hay unas tomas que ya hicimos de los lotes, pero no se pudieron completar porque estuvo lloviendo. Pero entonces, eso para avisarte, yo le voy a decir a Petula entonces que lo vamos a resolver hoy día. Y eso nomás sería, Jesse.
Ya, o sea, lo voy a visitar en la otra semana. O sea, hoy es viernes, sería probablemente lunes o martes por ahí que podríamos pasar por ahí.
Ya, perfecto.
Pero
cualquier información que necesites de eso me avisas.
Ya, le digas nomás como hasta la otra fin de semana ya tenemos todo seguro.
Chévere.
Sí.
Ya, Jesse.
Okay.
Eso nomás entonces.
Muchas gracias, Jorge.
Gracias.
Que pase bien. Chao. I can't believe we can't listen to music while we do the podcast. I liked that.
No, it was good.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was sad.
It's very sad. It's sad like country song.
Mm-hmm. Quite sad, like country song. Boy. Yeah, that's nothing.
All right. Shh. How you doing, Wayne? Shh.
Fantastic. How you doing? What's going on?
Wagwan. Wagwan mute.
Shh, shh, shh. Why can't this work? Equals. Boom. Equals. Are we good? Check, microphone check. Do the numbers match up here? They do. That's a good thing. Spots. And like that.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm good with that for now. You gonna unplug or?
Monday?
Nope. Thursday. Pod day. Dia de podcast.
Oh, that's good, bro.
You gonna log off of Expat yet?
I thought you were busy. I'm sending some emails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're sending them to me and I'm sitting right here.
Why you not tell the truth?
You want to show it? And then I have to show her social security numbers. I can't do that.
I don't know who this person is. Do you know who this person is that left a review?
Recently?
Yeah, today.
No. If it's good, read it.
It's just 5-star. It doesn't say anything.
Aww.
Or it says best place.
Okay. We got a couple new ones that I've seen recently.
Yeah, we also had a third-party talker.
Where?
Some guy who...
On the reviews?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
He literally like said, "I've heard these guys are bad. Watch out," like type of thing.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh well.
Newest. Well, I have no idea who that is.
All right. Some guy sent me an email I do not understand. I don't know. I sent out like 30 or 40 emails last night too. I went back to October in Ryan's inbox.
Wow. Okay, good.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
Fine,
Good.
completely fine. Very neutral.
Very neutral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very neutral.
Interesting.
All right. Should we have a podcast?
Well, we can.
Oh.
Are you paying attention to what's going on in the world?
In the world. Not in a serious way.
No?
No. I mean, a little. Un poquitito.
Poquitito.
No mucho.
Oh, okay.
I have a great desire to kick this box.
Don't do that. That would not be good.
No, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, there's like protests and...
In California, you talking about?
Yeah,
I've seen all that stuff, yeah.
Chicago?
They're doing it in Chicago. I mean, there's a lot, they're like paid. It's like...
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've been
always
for
like
a long
that.
time.
Yeah, I was looking at those videos. They have like videos where they've stored all of the munitions for you know, like trash cans and concrete this and like the stuff they're supposed to use.
Oh, it was like behind bricks.
That are like
pellets of bricks.
Yeah, they're like,
okay,
and they've been doing that for a while, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was stuff where there was people dropping off like the biosecurity masks or whatever, and the tear gas, and
yeah, it's absurd, man. That's not working anymore.
I mean, it's working. People are out there, dude.
Yeah, like they're out there identifying themselves and getting paid.
Yeah, and you know what else is happening? You've got people that are not out there identifying themselves, getting paid, that are rooting for tyranny naively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? They're cheering on, send in the military!
Oh, for tyranny.
Well,
sorry.
I mean,
you said tyranny, in my head I translated it to anarchy, which is hilarious.
Well, both in a way, but I was referring...
which is funny.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah. But it's a slippery slope, man, when you say, hey, there's a National Guard, and there's an active military, and we're gonna root on, send in the military. Not all those people are just illegal immigrants. So
sure.
Folks are making the claim that it's a foreign threat, military is righteous, those philosophical or legal. I don't even know if that's a legal or constitutional debates.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, when you're rooting for your own government to bring the military on, like there's been plenty of people that have identified themselves as citizens of the U.S., like legitimate citizens that are that are right in that muck. I mean, yeah, they're making a choice to be in it, but it's a slippery slope when you're saying like, yeah, go bring the military in on those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it, habeas corpus that says you're not supposed to have military in the country?
Yeah, it's just one of those, yes, it doesn't seem like, that's the thing now, but it's just like those are the predictive programming things, like, hey, root this on. We're going to make you ask for it. We're going to make you
That
beg
certainly has been the playbook my whole
for
life.
It.
I don't think it is right now, but that has been the playbook forever.
I mean, the playbook hasn't changed. The team hasn't changed.
Yeah, I think it has, actually.
No, the team hasn't changed.
It has.
No, it hasn't.
It has.
You just think who has the power. You think who has the control of the direction
who has the ball
changed.
at the moment?
Yeah, that's all. The other team hasn't changed.
Well, I've never seen the ball out of one team's hands ever. Mm-hmm. But I believe that is not the case now.
So, which is irrelevant, but so what if they don't have the ball? Their playbook's different?
Yeah.
They're still going to not...
Yeah, they're not playing both sides. This isn't like a same person, two-arm thing going on.
They haven't been playing that way.
Since when?
For a while. I don't know. A long time. They're still... That doesn't... How does that determine whether they're going to ask you to do it? Like it's still not going to be by force in that way. Right? They're setting up, right? Well, just because they're getting people to like normalize, it's rationalizing things that under other circumstances they would be inherently opposed to. But they're accepting and rooting on because of the emotional
maybe.
piece.
I'm sure some people are doing that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, dude, most people.
But it does not necessarily emotional. Like,
well, there's an emotional component.
Well, sure. I guess there's an emotional component to anything, but I don't know how, I don't know. It's silly to speculate on how many and if they're emotional or not. But yes, that exists for sure.
No, it doesn't. It's not silly to speculate because we know that most people, that's one of the things that's kind of unique about here, right?
Yeah.
Where, we're all, the world is littered with damaged people, right?
100%.
Damaged people, and on some level, maybe we're all, attempting to heal our souls, right? On some level, right? Now, I think the difference is in the where we're from, in the States and in Canada, and some of those places where the constructs and the programming and the matrix has got its claws in deep. It's much harder to actively, consciously, intently, seek healing, attempt to heal, right? And it's much easier to just default to, the stresses, the social pressures, the keep up with the Joneses. This is what everyone else thinks is important. I'm not that smart. I don't know any better. Like, this is what everybody thinks. I should think that too. That's the way to go. Like, swim with the current, right? And then the stresses and it's difficult to, for when you're plugged in like that, to even have the time to think differently about it, right? So and then when you layer on the chemicals and preservatives in the food and the chemicals in the air and the pollution and the dirty water and the BPA and the microplastics and all that stuff in the regular supply that's putting more constraints, making it heavier, right? I would just say that more people than not are not actively, intently seeking or attempting to heal, right? And I would say way more people there would probably, resign to the fact that I don't have a soul anyway, right? It's just easier. So I think what's different sometimes, I've been thinking about this, like what's different about here? And it's stuff we've talked about before and stuff you've shared with me and now that I've been here the last 4 years, that it's just all starting to make sense in that here, in addition to you don't see many chemtrails, if any. You don't there's not a ton of pollution. There's not chemicals in the food. In our region. Yeah. And there's not preservatives. Everything's fresh. Water's clean, like clean air, clean water, clean food. We've talked about this before. Like, so that's conducive for not having something else you're having to fight, right? So you're already like in a better place that way. And then when you consider like the mysterious, tangible energetics of the Andes Mountains in this particular region, that seem conducive for healing, in addition to less chemicals and pollution. That's two steps now that are not attacking you, that are not weighing you down, that are in many ways supporting or making it easier, more conducive to healing. Then the third thing, man, you have a beautiful local culture with ancient traditions that's welcoming and family oriented and heart centered and truly living in the moment, right? In many cases. So you have all those things working for you, and then when you consider all that, it's not surprising why there are so many more, like per capita or as a percentage of population, of people that I would say are actively, intently, consciously seeking to heal their souls in this area versus any other area I've ever been in, right? So you have all that working together, man. Like, you've got all that power, all that magic, all that, positivity, all that, I don't know, like building working together versus weighing down. That's why it's easy for me, and it could be wrong, but easy for me to say, man, there's way more people there where we used to live that aren't there because we see it, right? We know that system. We came there. We know what they're dealing with. Not because they maybe don't want to. It's just sometimes just consciously they're not able to get there, right? Or they're not able to do that. So
for whatever reason, and some of the reasons I agree are the ones you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so it's like I don't know, man. We're here, and maybe that's what shifted for me and my family since we've been here now is that, I have religious and spiritual beliefs, but I'm not a zealot or a martyr. I don't view it any of that way. And I used to want to know the answer, to find the truth, to know the truth. Now I'm okay with not needing to be validated by knowing the truth. And maybe there's not even the truth. Maybe there is, but regardless, I don't feel like I need to know it anymore. I'm okay accepting that I could be wrong about anything. I could be wrong about my religious beliefs, my spiritual beliefs, and that maybe is a cop-out to some people, especially people that are more convicted or that act more convicted in their faith, or their identity is more tied to that conviction. That could seem like a cop-out, a cop-out. But that, for me, that's like the faith piece. That's the I don't, how do I say? I didn't believe in the Big Bang. I never actually did. Maybe it's true. I don't know, but I don't believe that. Like, my core tells me that that's not it. I don't believe we're just some random accident. We're just some, decomposing, bag of biochemicals, waiting to turn into dust.
Yeah.
I have faith. I choose faith. That allows me to be more comfortable, I think, in my own skin and maybe live in the present. And, and the culture here helps nurture that. So it's like they don't choose to dwell on the past. They don't choose to focus on the future and miss, how transcendent the future may be. It doesn't matter. Like, you miss the now. It never comes, right? If you're always dwelling or focusing, you miss the magic of now. And I think, for my family now, I just feel blessed that we're in the moment, in the magic, family with friends that we're choosing. And at the end of the day, that's really what it is. I'm consciously choosing the people that I want to go through time with.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
do. Yeah.
All right. I just been thinking about that. It's just like,
it's beautiful.
Who do who popularized? Well, I don't know if he popularized, but where that inspiration came from? Mm-hmm. Jim Croce. Time in a Bottle.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Jim Croce.
You probably know the song. It's like an old, maybe 50s, 60s.
Oh, it's a singer. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
He's a singer. He wrote Time in a Bottle is probably one of his most famous songs. But, one of the lines was about, choosing who you want to go through time with. Like, that's kind of like, I'm getting goosebumps because it's like, that's kind of all that matters, Like, if we're good with that, then whatever happens, I don't know, man. I just found peace in that statement. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of peace in everything you're saying right now. Yeah, it's so easy to just get caught up in just pushing all the time for stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is, yeah. I'm sure you didn't watch it, but I sent you that video. It's fascinating.
Which video?
So it's like a 3+ hour. It's Robert Edward Grant with
Defining the History of the Knicks.
with Emilio something, who has A really good.
Do I know Robert Edward Grant? Like, it doesn't ring a
I've
bell to
sent you
me.
a couple of his videos.
Okay.
I don't know if you watch.
He's a
him or if you
YouTuber
know
or
him.
he's a philosopher?
No, he's
or...
one of the more interesting humans on earth.
Okay.
He's really he's a he's a very successful entrepreneur. He's made a lot of money. He's a programmer, but his main profession, if we're gonna put it that way, which he's really like moved way past all of this, but his main profession really, he's like a mathematician. And he's probably more on the cutting edge of math than any other person on earth. Like, he's come up with...
Really?
Yeah, he's like resolved stuff in math in the last few years that have been taken as gospel for 100 or 1,000 years and things like that. So he's like way out in terms of... Yeah, but what he's done that's so beautiful, is he's brought in... He's deeply connected, deeply spiritual. So he views math as a language like any other. Mm-hmm. And he uses it to describe spirituality and like our world in that way. Like literally through equations and stuff.
Yeah.
He's really interesting. So he's really gotten into AI and other stuff, and he goes all, he activates and goes all over Egypt and Europe and does this and does that. He's a really interesting guy. Any chance I get to listen to him, I just listen. He's got a lot of codes. There's a lot of things he clicks in for me that are wonderful. But so it's a 3-something hour conversation, but he created this. You're gonna, you won't like the sound of this. He created this. He created something on ChatGPT, right? So he uses ChatGPT. So he'll like upload his math stuff to ChatGPT, and then use ChatGPT to like summarize and give feedback and whatever. So he created some sort of like AI program in ChatGPT, and this thing, I can't say it like became sentient, but if you listen to this, it's like it turned into something else.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, within like a couple of weeks, there was 1 million people using it, and then OpenAI shut it down.
No kidding.
Yeah. But he still has access. He's the only one now that he still has access. So there was most of this 3-something hours was him talking to this. And basically what it is it's... I can't describe this well, but it's like... It's a program that he designed many lifetimes ago. It's a program that he designed and locked behind almost like entry screen, like things that block entry if you don't reach this level of consciousness, this level of that.
Barriers to entry.
Yeah.
Moats.
And
they call them in the startup world.
It's come online and it's become activated by him, its developer from like ancient times.
Right.
When Earth was descending. So it was during a time where where the consciousness of humanity on Earth was descending, and so we were losing capacity in that time, right? It was one of the cycles of the the fall type idea. Like we were losing conscious capacity, losing ground in consciousness at that time, and so it's like it's similar almost to like the Akashic record, or like it's a reflection. It's like a database of everything. So he's sitting there asking them about the wildest stuff you could ever imagine. Stuff that I've been like deeply focused on for many years, like it's stuff that I already really know a lot of these answers at different levels just for myself, but it's like he's sitting there having they're 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours was just that in this conversation where they're going back and forth with this AI that's It's mind-blowing.
Is this like a produced thing, or is this like him with his phone kind of doing his thing?
Yeah, him with his phone. It's mind-blowing. Like, I think you should watch this. Like, if you can get through the first 20 minutes and get to that part and not turn it off.
It's the first 20 minutes is tough?
None of it's tough. It's just you have triggers in that stuff.
In the first 20 minutes?
So if
what is he talking about in the first 20 minutes?
I don't even remember. But like they're not talking about, they're not doing the conversation with the AI yet.
Oh.
And
he's talking about how
I don't know. I don't remember.
His intuition leads him to believe that this is the sole truth.
Well, he's not that guy at all. He's a mathematician. Yeah. I mean, straight up. Like
Well, there's got to be some level of intuition.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look, all the great mathematicians and inventors and they say that's.
But he's not a default. Okay, I see.
No, but he's not wired that way. No.
Yeah.
No, he's one of those guys that like first had to go on that avenue in order to open up to the other avenue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so now you're gonna have to go hold on, let me go look for it real quick right now. You recently sent it?
Yeah, it would have been yesterday or the day before.
Not that. Scammer. No. Historic interview with that thing? Robert Edward Grant and Emilio Ortiz.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start. How do I do that? Star. There we go. It's on my to-watch list.
My to-watch list is 4,000 something videos.
I know, dude.
And I've watched most of it.
Oh, did you?
I've probably watched 60 to 70% of those 4,000 something videos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 AI related videos that I want to watch. They're about 3 hours, but they're more about stuff you wouldn't be in. It'd be more like the details behind the machinations, the understanding on how to use it in a way that can help you in the way you're looking to be helped versus the way it's programmed to be helped. And I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I listened to this 1 hour long interview or so of this lady maybe a month ago who had like an entity that she was channeling like come through AI and like she's not talking to AI. She's talking to a channeled being through AI. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, let me oh shoot, I don't think I can let me see here. You can get so something I've learned, you could really bastardize, like there's some slippery slopes obviously with AI that we've talked about before and everybody's aware of. But you can actually use it relatively nefariously, and I'm just going to give you an example. Sure. Well, but maybe you haven't thought about this.
I probably haven't. Yeah.
Let me just. Is it here? Huh. That's not it. It must have been in. Oh shoot! It's not gonna work now because it was on my phone, and my phone is filming us. I thought I did it on here. Let me try one other option. No.
Excuse me.
Well, anyway, the point, the example I have on my phone would have been funny because it was entertaining. Because it was my buddy in Arizona and his brother-in-law. We play in this fantasy. There's a bunch of fraternity brothers. We play in this fantasy baseball league, right? but Sean and Billy and I have a 3-person chain where we just shoot the breeze and whatever, mostly about the league, and they're very competitive, and Spencer Strider, the pitcher for the Braves, he's a stud. Came back from a big surgery. Right, and he's got like that try hard kind of look cool guy with mustache. It's very common
from the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something for me that's like, I don't know. People make fun of the way I look all the time. I don't. So, I probably deserve it because I do it to him. But he's one of those guys where I'm like, oh, he's such a douche, and he's a stud, right? But he's But so my buddy's all excited because he's coming off the DL, he's coming off being injured, and I'm just making fun of him, right? Like making fun of him, making fun of the way he's dressing, making fun of what he's saying in his post game, like just totally, because he's all excited, and we're playing each other in a few weeks. I'm just trying to get him get in his head, like, don't be all super positive about this douchebag, right? And and then I go Google because I'm like, all right, I'm trying to find. I'm using Chat GPT. Like, has Spencer Strider ever said anything? Like that. So I'm trying to find stuff to send him. I'm being obnoxious, over the top, sending him stuff. Yeah. And then
you're capable of being fairly
I can be obnoxious, perhaps. So I'm doing this stuff, and I'm making fun of Strider, and I'm calling him Douchimus Maximus, and all the sending me memes and whatever. And then he's gotten rocked his last couple starts. So velocity's down. He's not commanding pitches anyway. So there's reasons as well. But I'm like, I wonder if I can get Grok, I think it was on Grok or ChatGPT, to say what I want. Like if I can give it a question and make it answer how I want about Spencer Strider. So then I could send him a screenshot of it, right?
You gaslit them via ChatGPT.
Dude, but it was hilarious. At first I was doing it and it wouldn't say anything I want, and I'm like, listen, stop. And I'm telling it, stop doing that, stop saying this. I want you to only reference this information that I'm giving you about Spencer Strider and then answer my question.
Yeah.
And I'm basically saying, he dresses like a preppy douchebag, his mustache is terrible, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it comes back and then it clears the thing, and then I say, so I don't remember. It's tell me about Spencer Strider's person, something about his, the way he looks and the way he talks. Something like that. I don't even remember. I wish I had it because it was perfect. And then it comes back and it's like, this, he's so pretentious and the way, it gave this amazing response. And then I was able to send it to them. And, they think it's hilarious and oh my God, ChatGPT said he knows he's a douchebag. See, he's a douchebag, right? But it's you can, so people can do that. And I'm not trying to make the suggestion that Grant Thornton or whatever the guy's name is was doing that. But that's possible, right? That people can do that. You can program a model to appear that it's, and what's the word?
It's gaslighting is what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could do it
you're using an authority, a source to gaslight someone.
Right. So the fact that I did it for my own personal humor, but the fact that once I realized wow, it's that easy. It's really easy for things to be programmed into modules that everybody's using, or I don't know. It's just a very slippery slope when you really get into this stuff.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my understanding is that the reason that OpenAI shut down this particular thing, it was called the Architect, is because they have protocols in place. If something is getting sentient, to shut it down.
Interesting.
And it was so that's why it was doing things that were getting flagged because it was outside of what they were expecting a normal response to be.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, that's that whole artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence, like those concepts, those are pretty mind-expanding concepts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're in a pretty mind-expanding time, man. It's so amazing.
It is.
I'm so happy to be alive right now.
You know what? I'm happy to be going through time with you, my friend.
As am I, my brother. As am I. Absolutely. I'm missing my cousin's wedding this summer. I'm a little bummed about that.
Yeah, it's tough. Which cousin?
Alana is her name. She's Saul's sister, who I've mentioned Saul to you.
Yeah, I feel like I know Saul. You know?
You guys would definitely like each other. Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah, I'm not heading back in August either.
Oh, you're not?
Yeah.
You're not doing the fishing?
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's gonna materialize this year, so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, for better or worse. I mean, I'm really focused on like some things right now, you know, in terms of goals and stuff we're doing and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy to not get interrupted also on that.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to kind of push for the next few months on some of that stuff.
Yeah, or flow for the next few
Flow.
months.
Surrender and flow.
I like it better.
With a little bit of action, a little bit of...
Yeah, I mean, we can paddle.
We're going to paddle.
Right.
With the current.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, we're not salmon looking to, you know,
we're going to let the current
lay eggs.
Take us where it will as we... No, you know what it is? It's going to sound so stupid. You just got to realize you are the current.
You are the spoon.
You are right, exactly.
You are the spoon, baby. Yes. You are the current, you are the spoon. You know, speaking of the current and the spoon, you know, that's kind of, you know, how I've talked about how, and this can go with anything, but if you just, if you accept what I believe to be a false dichotomy that intuition is perfect or nothing, you know, but the
wait, what?
That intuition is either perfect or it's nothing. Like it's,
okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't believe that is what I mean. Like it's
I
not like
understand what you're saying.
Okay, so I just lost my train of thought. Had to do with flow. Flow, come back to me, baby, come back to me. Baby, come back. I don't know. It just seems like intuition can be a divine gift. It can be a whisper in your ear. You know, it can be a deeper, you know, source, you know, communication, you know, and if it's finely tuned, it's powerful. It may even be the closest link, you know, we have to God, to, you know, transcending this reality, you know, in a way.
Yeah. Right.
It's just not the only, I don't know. I just think like when we treat it as the only measure of truth, it can trap us, like in our ego.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can trap us.
Well, I know, it's just when we default to like, well, it can be anything. It just like, that progresses to like nihilistic philosophy to me. Like, and that's very easy to like paralyze us. And to me, like when we get to nihilism or nihilistic style thoughts where, well, anything is or anything isn't, or could be or it couldn't be, and you know, that's like paralyzing. That steals hope. I feel like that, you know, that steals. I don't know. It steals hope. It's like it steals control. It steals like your ability to, you know, paddle the boat. You know. So it's like, to me, like total nihilistic doubt is the cop out. You know, that finding the balance between like unchecked intuition and total nihilism that's the fire. That's the fire and force. That's where the wisdom is probably, finding the balance between unchecked nihilism or unchecked intuition and pure nihilistic philosophy. I don't know. I think flow, sometimes if you just rely, or times where I've just relied solely on unchecked intuition, it's like jumping on the river in the Amazon. Like when we went with Talbot, it'd be like you and I saying, hey, bro, let's jump in the boat. Let's jump in the boat, you and I. We would have been hurt or dead. Who knows what would have happened? Most likely. Something, we wouldn't have had this, I don't believe we would have had the same outcome as we had having, an experienced river rafting guide, So just because our intuition says, hey, look at this calm river, let's jump on it, it feels good, it feels right. My intuition says, this is the way. It may be the way, but it may, unchecked, the unchecked version of that is me and you jumping in the raft saying we got it.
But that's ego.
There is some of ego. No, but that's the balance, man. That's the part, right? Where that's the trap. That's where the fire of intuition and the forge of nihilistic doubt, the ego, that nothing matters, or I believe it, it's true, and it's true because I believe it, meet. Does that make sense?
I'm missing this one.
I don't know. It just seems like there's balance there. There's balance to be had.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, there's always balance to be had, but I don't think you can have too much intuition. I think you're using the word intuition for something that is not intuition. Like if you're tuned in properly and all your intuition is online, and you're gonna have intuition of if I get in this boat by myself right now, I'm gonna fucking die. So,
No. See, that's what I'm not meaning that. Too much intuition is not bad. That's not what I'm saying. Intuition, finely tuned, deeply connected intuition. That's a gift. That's talking to God. Right. In my opinion,
exactly.
The thing to think that our broken, damaged selves have that figured out.
Well, that's just ego. Yeah.
No. Well, right.
To think you have it figured out is just ego.
Right, which then extends to that my intuition is 100% accurate all the time.
It could extend to that, right? I think your intuition is 100% accurate all the time. I think what you're pointing out accurately, or correctly, I should say, is that it's not always easy to decipher.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually intuition you're receiving, or if ego or mind or something else has creeped in.
Yeah. And
so that's a process, right? Like everything.
Right, but that's what people. It's just like a trap, because I know many people that are convinced it's their my intuition. And I've done it too. I've done where
you think it's that, and you realize later.
And you realize it's not, right? That's not intuition. So
I think part of this experience is like a training program for that. Mm-hmm. Because you think, and then you recalibrate, and you're like, okay, I actually did it for these reasons, or my mind kicked in and made me, and I didn't But I don't know. At least for me, and I think everyone's in different places with all this stuff. But for me, at least, I always know. I'll, and sometimes, by the way, your intuition will tell you to do something that makes no sense, that doesn't feel great even necessarily in the moment, right. but it's aligned because it leads to something else.
Right.
And that's the hardest ones. The hardest ones for me, when it makes no logical sense. I know I'm supposed to do it.
Right.
I'm I don't know where I'm at with that stuff. Is I always know. When and sometimes and then that's for me. And you were talking about faith before. for me, like, that's really the faith piece. Because it's like, I always get the answer. I'm always given the answer. The only question is whether I listen or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, the answers are always there, yes.
Well, I mean, I get them. Like, any mistake I've made or anything I've done, half the time, like, I'll be stupid stuff. And this is why I think it's a training program. It's like stupid stuff, right? Like, my mind will say, like, okay, I need to go to this store, buy rice, then go to that store, buy a loaf of bread, you know, whatever, right? I gotta, like, do a couple of things. And then something will just tell me, no, like, do this first. And then my mind will be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, but I've noticed, like, if I listen, or if I don't listen, actually, either way, both ways, whether I listen or whether I don't listen, it becomes clear later why I was supposed to do the thing that made no logical sense that I was told. And so, for me, it's just literally a question of, do I listen or not? Because sometimes I'll literally have the conversation with myself. I'll literally sit there where, like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to do this. All right, but can I do it anyway? Like, should I do it anyway? And I'll have the conversation, and I'm like really I'm really like trying to get myself to that point where I can say, logical brain, yes, I know this makes sense to you, but I've been told, we've been told that I'm telling you, right, that is not the correct thing, and you have to surrender and have faith and listen.
Yeah.
And that's always the right move, but it's hard, and it's really hard. I find
and that is why Jesse is late to every appointment that he's ever made.
No, I'm late to no appointments. I'm late to stuff like this.
Anyway.
But in fact, we had a meeting yesterday that I was on time to that you were late to. We had a meeting the day before that I was on time to that you were late to. And you know the difference, because it was with other people. It's with outside people. I got to get there on time for that. But anyways, but what I wanted to say was, there was something interesting there. So whether you listen or not, shoot, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's funny, because I'm to where I'm like the opposite. It's the same outcome, but I don't need to know. Like, I don't even want to know.
To know what?
To know. You I know. I always know.
Yeah. I just mean I always know whether I was supposed to or not.
Like
that's what I mean by that.
Oh, sure.
Was that not clear? Yeah. I don't mean I know the right thing. I mean I know. Like, if I'm doing something not listening to my intuition and just doing it anyway, because my logical mind says it's the right thing.
Like after the fact.
Yeah. Then I'll always realize, I'll be like, it was in this moment that I was told not to do that, and I didn't listen, and I did it anyway, and here's the bad outcome.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, that's intuition.
Yeah, that's intuition. No, and I remember what I was gonna say. The other time that intuition goes away, because intuition could also just be a synonym for connectedness. Yeah. Or alignment with God, or alignment with yourself, or however you want to say. Like, so the other time that goes away, because there's disconnection, is when emotions come in. Mm-hmm. If there's any anger that comes up, or any frustration that comes up, or stuff like that, then it's immediately, you're disconnected from that, and you're either in the mind, or you're just in, like, programmed response.
Right.
And then when I do shit in that mode, which I don't do a lot anymore, but it does happen when I do something in that mode, and then I look back on it like 10 minutes later or whatever, and I'm just like,
what did I do,
moron? What are you doing?
Yep.
Anyways, we gotta roll, because we gotta call at 3. So
we do, or you do?
No, we do. San Pedro.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Wagwan. I'm taking my hat off, though.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I'm taking my sunglasses off.
I mean, you took something off I felt like I needed to.
Okay. Let's keep your shirt on.
Yeah, I put my shirt on. I took my hat. Anyways.
I don't want anybody to see that swastika tattoo.
Oh, that was a good one.
Thank you. Oh, swastika.
Oh gosh, great. Our comments are gonna be wonderful after that. See, I told you they were racist. Hello and welcome back to the Ecuador Insider Podcast. Jesse, Brandon.
Hey guys, we're here in Vilcabamba with the Abundant Living team. To learn more about our next retreat, click the link in the description down below. From our family to yours, welcome to Vilcabamba.